real nice cuts. Almost like you're cutting it with a scissor, right? So I'm going to show you how to do this. All right, I'm Mr. G. Welcome to Mr. G's workshop. And today we're going to talk about the brake shear roll. This one happens to be from the company named Jet. Now, a lot of people say, okay, well, it's probably like maybe a cheapo from China, this and that. It probably is made in China. It says it right there. But I got to tell you, this is pretty bulletproof. In fact, it's been in this room with teenagers using it for about 5 years. Okay, so that means it's teenager proof. The only problem is some of the safety features that they sell you with the unit are not adequate for a shop class. So I've got a modification I'm going to show you right now. All right, and my class is here, and they're actually paying attention to what we're going to do now. If you take a look, come on in for this close-up here. Can you see this right here? Okay, so the blade starts cutting on one side and ends up on the other, right? So it's like a cross. So it's just basically a big scissor. Now, if you notice right here, you see this is like a big scissor, right? So some students will say to me, they'll say, yeah, Mr. G, there's something wrong with it because like the blade's tilted down on one side. And I'm like, no. It's just like scissors. It's going to be like this. It's like a guillotine, slice like that. Yeah, the blade goes straight down, but it's on an angle because it's cutting. Okay, makes sense? All right. So let's do a cut. All right, I got a piece of aluminum here, right? And let's say I were to put this in here. Now, come on in close and put the camera right here so you can look straight across. Now, if you notice, when I come down, right, notice it starts to kick it up. Can you see that in the camera? Okay, so that's not good because what will happen is it'll actually start to tilt it up, and it's not going to cut. It's going to do one of those, that's cool. It's going to do one of those things where the paper folds over. Have you ever seen that on a really bad scissor, right? Now, if the paper folds over, what happens is it actually slices out splinters. Okay, so those splinters are made out of steel or aluminum, and they will slice you. So I had a student one time, it actually went into their thumb, you know, because they thought they could just pull the splinter off. So nobody's going to pull, don't go grabbing the splinters. They're not little hairs or little pieces of paper, right? You understand? Yep. Okay, what do you do with the splinters? He wasn't paying attention. Some people sleep with, you know, they're sleeping with their eyes open. Don't touch them, right? Yeah. Don't touch the splinters, okay? Call me over and I will remove them with gloves or, you know, okay. Anyway, this is something to know. If a shop teacher's watching this, this is the solution. It's got to stay perpendicular to the blade, right? So come on in for this, right? So we put this back up. Once you've got where you're going to do it, and you obviously could, I didn't do any measurements. You obviously could do your measurement, and let's say you knew that that's where you want it to cut. All you need to do is mark both sides. Okay, you don't even need the full amount. Put it in there, right? Bring it down just a little bit until you're on it. Okay, now you take this. Now I made this. This is the highest level of craftsmanship. Now, this is just a piece of wood. That's all you need. See, it says here on blade. That means this goes here. Okay? I make a point to slam it into there so that everybody here watching understands. To the blade, okay? Clamp here, and what does this say right here? Louder.
Don't hold it down.
Don't touch that. Don't touch this, right? And the reason why, I'll explain. I just use vice grips, right? Clamp it over here. Clamp it over here. Okay? And the reason why is because when you're cutting, if your hands are here, guess what? Guess how many hands can get hurt? It's 0.
Yeah.
They're frozen. I don't know why. Okay, so if you're cutting with 2 hands on top, then your hands are not by the blade. So there's no way to cut yourself. So is this a good idea?
No.
No. Right. Okay. So this is what you do. You touch down a little bit, just feel it. And then what I do is I just take a little bit of a bend in the knee and then breathe in. And just cut it. Right? Done. Take this off. right, come on in. It's right on the edge right there. Nice. Okay. Now that's aluminum. It cuts real easy. Now steel's different. Steel you have to measure. Okay. Now can you read this for me right here?
Shear. No.
Yep. Yep. What is that? Greater than.
Yeah. Greater than
Point 0.030. Okay. All right. So that's 20 gauge or close to it. Okay. That's the thickness, right? So what you do is you put this in the caliper, and we learned the caliper the other day, and it says 0.030. So this will work. Nothing bigger, right? Exactly. Okay. Be careful with the calipers, right? Okay. So now let's put it in there. Actually, let's do this one. This one is the same type of steel. Okay. I just kind of hold it. Now, come on in, camera person. Take a look. It's starting to tilt up. You see? Look. See that? Look how much it's tilted up, like a ½ inch or something, right? Okay, no good, right? So put this to the blade, down. Take your vice grips. Put the vice grips. You might have to adjust it because it's not the same underneath. Lock it in. Now, where should I put my hand here just to help it out? Or shouldn't I just help it out? Because like I gotta help it out, right? No. Hands here. That's it, right? Okay. So there's no helping. Don't do that. Alright. Hold on, let me get the piece. Oh, okay. Alright, now. Okay, so this thing, super easy to bend. Like nothing, right? Here's another feature. The brake, when I was a kid, someone said, oh, just put it in a brake. It doesn't make any sense. Isn't brake like when you break something or when you slow down something, right? This is different. When it comes to metal, you're putting it in a brake. It's breaking the edge. It's going into it. Okay. So it's easy to bend this right now. But when you put it in the brake, 2 hands here, push up. Now, it's much harder to bend. It's just like when you fold paper. Remember we did that with the cell phone and we folded a paper holder? Okay, same thing. Now, one more piece to the puzzle. The third feature, which is complicated to use, but if you needed it, we could work on it together, is the roll, right? So let's say you knew your distance. Okay. Now it's going to roll it. And it does a real good job of the roll, right? And you can adjust the back. There's 3 rolls, okay? So a couple of safety things just to go over. Never try and hold, it even says no hands. Don't try and hold anything like this. The other thing is, it says here, come on in for this. Little cartoon. I have an idea. I'll impress the teacher by using 1 hand instead of 2. Is that a good idea? And there's like a light bulb. So don't get any teenager ideas. Always have 2 hands here, okay? The other reason is this, right? It won't be your fault, right? But because you didn't use 2 hands. I've had students standing here, looking over, being like, hey, trying to help, be like, hey, why don't you just, and they're like helping, because they're like hanging out, you know, because like when you're a teenager, you're like hanging out, you know? So the student went, yeah, cool, okay, whack! And this smacked the person in the face, gave him a bloody lip, bleeding. I couldn't believe it. I was like, how did your lip get hit from this? And they were afraid to tell me, and then they finally told me, well, I was standing over here, and then whack. You know what I mean? So this machine could care less about you. So you have to be the one responsible. So if someone's standing there, you have to be like, I'm so sorry, I need this. And you won't need to hold anything because you're using the piece of wood hold down with the 2 clamps. Okay? And how many layers of steel can you do at a time?
1.
Just 1, right? Okay, cool. So anyway, so this is the brake shear roll, and if you're a shop teacher watching this, I gotta tell you, the one from Jet, I mean, I haven't had any others, but I've never had a problem with this. You might have to disassemble the arms and grease them every so often. You might have to adjust the blade. You might have to do this safety mechanism because they have this, they call it an elephant foot. It doesn't work too well. You might have to make some adjustments, but overall, it's a good machine. All right, so that's it. I'm Mr. G. That's how to use the brake shear roll from Jet. See you later.